today's quick job, which is about to turn into a 4-hour challenge. We have this little extension lead that goes outside onto the wharf. It's not the best solution, believe me, because this is an armoured cable, but it's been out there for 6 years and it hasn't been damaged, so for the time being I'm going to keep it this way. It was plugged into a little plug-in RCD there, which has gone somewhere else. I don't know where. Someone's obviously taken that out and used it for something else, which means if I plug this in now into there, there's no RCD protection, because this ring main here goes straight into the distribution board, and there's only an MCB, miniature circuit breaker. So the problem then is that's going to be dangerous if anyone was to cut into it or drill into it or step into it with a stiletto heel or something. Once all the building outside is done for the brewery, there will be a proper under concrete armoured cable going out to some sockets on the wharf. But for now I'm going to take this off and replace it with one of these plug RCDs. So this will then ensure that that can't be unplugged from the protective RCD in there. So first off, let's swap that out and that in. What I'm going to do is use some furrows, some crimp furrows, mainly because they're just a little bit trendy at the moment. Here's interesting, having taken that plug off, it's already got crimped furrows on. So I'm going to use this as it is. My only worry is the cable retaining clamp on there was massively tight, but I will obviously plug it in and test it as I would any other extension lead, but it's been done properly as well. Sorry, let's focus properly. The earth should always be longer, that way if it gets really pulled, the live, or the line, the brown one here, should always come out first. So I'm going to wire this into, I'll put it here, wire this straight into there, and there we have it. That was surprisingly well designed. Those clamps, it looks like I'm clamped onto the insulation, but I'm not. Just to be clear, nice, easy design, and captive screws to hold the top that don't fall out and get lost all over the place. So let's get it plugged in and tested it. Now, bearing in mind, I haven't tested the outside socket yet. It'd just be interesting to see whether we have, yes we have power going to those outside sockets. There doesn't seem to be a problem, but I do need to get the tester on there just to be sure. But I'm going to unplug it first while I go outside in the freezing cold to have a look at that socket on the quayside. Just before I do, obviously I'm going to put my tools away. I'll just take you through. There's two different types of ferrule crimpers. This puts a square crimp on the ferrule, and that's good if you're going into like an MCB or something where the screw just goes straight down onto it. This crimps it's got 6-way, so it's a hexagonal, and that's good if you're going into a round type socket. And they're just standard, well, they're not standard. There's 3 different colour codes for these, obviously. There's German, 2 lots of German and a French. I don't think we've got our own, so I didn't need to use that. Didn't need to use my lovely little German wire stripper, which is brilliant, or my Nipex. I didn't need to use any of these. I didn't need to use any toys or tools. Let's go and check that outside socket, shall we? Here is the outside socket. I'm sure you'll have seen this sort before. It's got a couple of fairly good quality, actually, considering rubber glands here and in here, and it does provide an exceptionally good waterproof connection. Now that is going to live probably down here in one. You're right, mate. Yeah, I know. In there, and I have part of the good thing about this is it's one of those things you could take out into the garden, just stuff it anywhere if you was having a barbecue or whatever. Sorry if the wind's making a howling noise in the camera, but this is, I say, this is temporary at the moment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run another down here and then probably just screw it onto here or onto here, probably not onto there because this post, or I might screw it onto here or somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter where I'm going to screw it, but I've got another outside watertight enclosure with 2 more sockets, but it's also got a Wi-Fi extender, and that's so I can extend the Wi-Fi from the boathouse. So I might put it on here, from the boathouse into Olin Water, because a lot of the stuff that's going in here is going to be smart homey. In other words, it will need a Wi-Fi connection. I've got a very, very good router in here which will handle hundreds and hundreds of different IoT devices. Little tip for you: the more things that you get which you connect to your Wi-Fi, if you haven't got a fairly new Wi-Fi router, it will very quickly use all of the available capacity in your router, and everything will start going a little bit tits up. So anyway, let me show you the weatherproof Wi-Fi and double socket. So storm weatherproof, quite appropriate for what we've been forecast for the next couple of days. So this is let's get it out of packaging and show you. So again, the same type of weatherproofing with the little rubber glands, and then inside is a standard double socket, but also acts as a Wi-Fi extender. I can't remember whether it's just 2 point doesn't say. It's 2.4 gig, so it's not going to do 5 gig. But here's the thing: there's a lot of misinformation about that, and the reality is there's very little difference. One's sort of like stronger long term, one's quicker shorter term. Yeah, basically, who cares? All it is to manage the Internet of Things lighting on the boat, so it's quite good enough. All I'm going to do, I'll just show you the connections. It's quite nice. It's got 2 CPC. It's always a nice thing to find on stuff like this. And yeah, what can you say apart from pretty well thought out? Obviously, now that's the thing. Well, I say obviously, it's not obvious. You do need to drill through the box to mount it, which does affect the water ingress. So you drill through there, screw it on, and then there's some rubber bungs, what you can then use to seal. These didn't come with a grommet, strain relief thing, whatever these is called, but fortunately I've got bucketfuls of these, so I shall put that in there, wire it all up, and I'm just going to put, in fact I might use the same plug that I took off the other end of that to plonk on end, and then I will plug that into the outside socket and then move this further down the wharf. Better get doing it then. So having a rummage around, I found a nice little suicide lead. In other words, it's just been cut off of something else. Yeah, they all go in a box marked "keep the fuck away." So it's 1.5 mil in here. It's fairly tough heavyweight cable, which I have now terminated in crimp furrows. I've used the square one because the L that it is going into is square. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. I got the square and the hexagonal crimpers for next to nothing anyway. So now I'm going to remember, before connecting it to that, to put it through the L, because otherwise, yeah. Do you remember? Some of you will. You know the rubber plugs, the rubber top plugs, similar to the one that I took off the end of that lead. The top used to have a ring that you had to put over the cable first before then wiring up the plug. And the amount of times I'd wired up a plug and then hadn't put the plug cap on first and had to unwire it, and then, yeah, what a lot of people used to do was just cut. Never mind, let's not go there. Let's not do that. So that's ready to wire now. Interview is done. The beauty for me of using these crimp ferrules is, you know, sometimes you strip a cable and you get a little bit sticky out and you could possibly get a little bit sort of, you know, but none of that with these ferrules. They really crimp on there rock hard, and you know that everything is then going into where it should be going. I do like the idea of having this twin CPC on here, earth as you would say. I've been watching too much of the YouTube eFix channel. I'm sorry about that, but I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And I remembered to put it in the box first. So this now is pretty much done. I'm going to lightly assemble it, but not do it up, obviously, because I'm going to have to drill through the back. And I might put it on a post and then sink a post, you know, sharpen a post, use it like that way. But here's the thing. There's no guidance on what torque these should be. All electrical connections now, everyone's talking about what torque settings you should use, like how tight, in other words. There isn't, so I just tightened it until I thought, fuck me, that's tight enough. Right, let's get it put together, and then I'll tell you why I'm going to be careful testing it. On board the good ship Erlin Watter, a little bit of scrap wood. That'll do nicely, I should think. And the reason I want to get the lighting working in here is at the moment, oh sorry, that's awful, isn't it? The flicker from the LED. All the lighting I'm working with is from these LED floodlights, which is a bit crap. We're about to alter the layout a little bit in here as well. But we now have a suitable stick. Screwed onto stick. Little rubber bongs bonged in. There's two more which I've actually taped on the inside here. There's those and some little grey plugs to go in here, but they're not immediately necessary, I don't think, because this is only a test. What I have noticed down here, this is a plastic housing, but there's another CPC connector here. Kind of tempted. I'm going to make use of that second CPC connector there, and I'm just going to put, I don't know why you need to do that on a plastic box, but while I can, I will. Right, we're all done. I have actually put those little bungs in. I don't know if they do make any difference to the IP rating, but they came with it, so they've gone in. In actual fact, there was a spare, so I've just taped that inside the lid. I've done my visual inspection. Normally, in order to test this, what we would do is plug it through here. and then we'd throw 250 and then 500 volts through it to check the insulation resistance. This has got Wi-Fi built in. I think I'll probably fry it if I do that. So I'm just going to go with a visual inspection, and then maybe at a later date have a little look up and see what the regs are, if there are any, if indeed there are any. I thought I had. By the way, that's today's BS stash. Yes, I have got. Yes, that's the up-to-date version. So I'll have a little look through there and see if it mentions stuff like that. I should imagine, you know, the thing is, lots of stuff these days got electronics, electronic-y electronics. So yeah. Right, anyway, let's have a look outside. It's got dark and cold very, very quickly. Right, well, that's a temporary measure. Alright guys, making a video, do you mind? A bit windy, sorry about that. Well, we've plugged this into this and it works. And I've put the plug tester in there, 242 volts. What is nice about this particular plug-in tester is it's got a little button that if you push it, it will test the RCD. And there you go, it's just blown the RCD, so we know the RCD works. It's a nice little quick way of avoiding having to make a big loop out of any extension lead. So now I'm going to close that up, and I'm going to stop filming and close that up, and I'm going to close that up. I'm going to go and reset the RCD. Perfect, so that's good. We know that the RCD works, and we know there's no problem with the lead. Have we got a Wi-Fi signal on Olin Water? Have we? We have a very strong signal in here, but of course I can't show you because I'm on my phone. So yeah, it works. So that's good. We have power along the quayside, and we have a very strong Wi-Fi signal on. Oh, that radiator's lovely. Oh, I love just snuggling up to you. Sorry, a bit inappropriate. This one's cold as fuck, but that one's going down there. And then we're having a corridor down here. We're not having a walk-through bathroom anymore. So bathroom will be up to here. It's another story, it's another video in there. Yeah. So that's good. To have power on the quayside, Wi-Fi out here. Cool, blimey gov. Ain't it things coming together? Brilliant. Now, as I said, that is only a temporary solution down there like that. As some of you will remember, look, the wind's blowing it all over. I was going to use some of this along here, but I've been waiting to see whether or not it will be safe and legal, and the way I was proposing to do it wouldn't have been quite as safe as I wanted it to be. So we have another solution coming, which actually might look a bit better. I've just banged my toe on the door on Olin Water. So that's why we haven't got our fence along here. So we're going to have a fence and then two long bits going up with another bit going across the top with boathouse written on it in bits of old broken keg. So that's it for now. Hope you found that little thing interesting. Those are only about 30 quid. Those little Wi-Fi extender outdoor sockets, which I think that's a bargain, that is. And we have got a super strong signal on Olin Water. For now, whatever you're doing, do it safely. Till next time, cheers.